With a population of about 36 million people, the Southeast is awash with stories. Every day on Southeast News, we tell the peculiar story of the Southeast and her people.
Our Southeast should be the Silicon Valley of Nigeria.
Their successes, achievements, and daily challenges. Do you have a Southeast story to share? Community achievements and challenges, completed and uncompleted projects, bad roads, water scarcity, erosion, flooding, insecurity, or even disagreements? Bring it on to Southeast News. On Southeast News, no story is too big or too small. Southeast News. Let's tell our story. Showing on Signature TV every weekday at 4 p.m. WAT, 1600 hours GMT.
Welcome back. Now, the just concluded 2025 Annual General Conference of the Nigerian Bar Association held in Enugu was a gathering that drew in a lot of legal luminaries, political leaders, and civil society. Now, today, we're going to take a closer look at the key highlights of that conference, the resolutions and the lessons from it, and what they mean for the legal community and the Nigerian society at large. And so with us this morning to talk on the briefs from the Enugu MBA conference is Nnadume Ofokansi. He's a legal practitioner. Good morning and welcome to the program.
Thank you very much for having me this morning.
Thank you for joining us. It's always a pleasure having you here. All right, so let's first of all look at this MBA conference on a general level. How, from your perspective, how would you say the conference went? What stood out for you particularly in everything that was done in that conference?
Well, you see, the conference is a conference like no other. For the past 26 years or thereabout, I've been attending conferences. Even though I won't say I'm in a better position to assess the conference because I am a member of the local organizing committee. So if you tell me to assess what we have done, I'll tell you we have 100%. I'm also the subcommittee chairman on tourism and socials. So, but so far so good. Whatever fallouts I will give my assessors, I know whether we, the LOC, did a good job or whether we didn't do a good job. But from interactions I've had with people, from 18th, when the football match started, it has been something that gave a lot of lawyers a surprise. Surprise in the sense that, one, a lot of them read a lot of negative things on social media about southeastern Nigeria. And Enugu is the heart hub of Southeast. So when you talk about coming to Enugu, many people were so skeptical about going to Enugu for the conference. In fact, a lady from Kano confided in me on Wednesday when we went on tour of some parts of Enugu outskirts that when they were preparing to come to Enugu, they were simply written off as rebels who are going to sacrifice their life. So if they don't come back, they will forget them. So they will do their last prayers for them. so then they just go there and die. So, but by that Wednesday, she has just started calling all other of her mates. If you know how you can get to Enugu and enjoy this conference, even for one day, because if you miss this conference, you will miss a lifetime opportunity. And many of them actually came into Enugu. In fact, when I was coming to this studio, a brother of mine who lives in Maitama, Abuja, says that a young senior advocate, when I call these people who have just been elevated last, who came for the conference, said that immediately he came for the conference, he was thinking, he had the mindset, he's from the north. So the mindset he had was that, no, that maybe if you come here, they kill you, there's unrest, no rest every Monday, people die, this and that. But on Tuesday, the man was forced to start calling the wife, enter the next available flight, come to Enugu. So now and again, there were other write-ups. This young man from Owerri, who was here since 18th, he was a member of the football team. He has written, how Enugu has turned to be not only the social and normal capital of Southeast Nigeria, but to be the social and entertainment capital of Nigeria. That he came from Owerri, even though he's an Igbo man practicing Owerri, but he hardly moved out of Owerri because of the so-called insecurity. But having come to Enugu since 18th, that he now noticed the wide gap between Enugu and Owerri, where he came from. I'm talking now about Southeast versus Southeast. I don't know about the North. Now, there is this other Yoruba guy who actually was with me. I think that was on Thursday. He was saying that, when they deceive us, when they talk, say, they are marginalized. This one, now they marginalize everybody. So you find out that a lot of testimonies from various attendees who came for the conference. In fact, as at Saturday in the morning, I was with the branch chairman of MBA Enugu VCODO, telling people who are in the Mami market, please pack and go. The conference has ended. I don't want to know that we get space here and do the same market. Say, which market? Go home and sell your market. We have ended the conference. But this is something, each time when we attend such conference, maybe in Lagos, but it has never been Lagos, Abuja, Port Harcourt. Occasionally, we veer out to other smaller states, like once we had it in Imo, once we had it in Kwara, once I think I went to Jos, I think in 2007 or thereabout. So, but all these ones have been, all those smaller states, apart from Abuja, Lagos, and Port Harcourt, has been catastrophic. When we went to Lorraine, people were begging people to sleep even in verandas of their houses. But I had to turn back the next day. I couldn't complete the conference because there was no place to stay. When we went to Jos, the hotel they found for us was in a different part of Jos. And nonetheless, many people were not accommodated. People were staying in 2 or 3 in a room just to make sure that because Jos is so far for you to come today and go tomorrow. Now, when we went to Owerri, it was relatively better than Lorraine. Lorraine was the worst. Jos and Owerri was a little better than this 3 other. I'm talking about offshoot states apart from the 3 mega places we have been going. So when people talked about Enugu, and Enugu, it was the recklessness of the present government of Tinubu that played into the hands of MBA that brought the conference to Enugu, because it was actually scheduled for Port Harcourt. So when Port Harcourt now swore in a non-democratically elected sole administrator as against the dictates of our constitution, our grand norm, as lawyers we rose against it and said we can't celebrate such a thing when we know it is illegal, manifestly illegal, manifestly unlawful, manifestly unconstitutional. So we said we will pull it out from there to show our protest. That was why we came to Enugu. And now on coming to Enugu, they now saw what they had never seen before. There was space, there was interconnectivity. I don't even want to go yet to the state government's efforts in trying to make people comfortable. Because if we take that one will take another 1 full hour. 1 full hour for us to discuss the state government intervention in that conference. Because the government of Peter Mbak did most unthinkable thing I never expected. But like I keep on saying wherever I go, this Peter Mbak, I never gave him a single chance. But the man is performing beyond my expectations. So this conference, he crowned it all. In fact, the International Conference Center is a sight to behold. You just enter there, you won't have the God to say you want to come out. You feel like you want to relax there for the whole day. So you find out that a lot of things went normal. So people keep on sending testimonies, sending their accolades to Enugu, and it has opened up the eyes of MBA. Put me, in the next 2-3 years, MBA will come back to Enugu. Wow. Because if those who didn't come, with all these testimonies flying around everywhere, let us go and finish up the election in Port Harcourt next year. Maybe the next 2 years, people say, no, we want to go and test the good things of Enugu again before this government goes. So invariably, the conference was well organized for lawyers. We have enriched also our repertoire of legal knowledge, including the digital legal knowledge that's now trending and the AI part of legal practice, because law grows like every other thing is growing. So the digital aspect of law has been, imparted on lawyers, the AI introductions. The people who are doing it, they were there, and people were actually benefiting. Those who delivered lectures, those who came, and then the fun aspect is what it's much of the word much on. So the other aspect will gain it, and then again, you find out that there was a lot of improvement in the commerce of Enugu State. The hotels were all put to the brim. The markets were agog because the Mami market where people cook, you also find out that whatever you are going to do, you go to buy it in the market in Enugu here. So everybody was touched one way or the other, including transportation. Accepted that MOT tried to cover up, block some of the party roads in linked up Barra Square, and that caused a little bit of chaotic traffic stations on some days. But then for Wednesday, Wise Council prepared, they started opening up some of the roads. Ordinarily, I suggested that they should not close up any of the roads, let a free flow so that vehicles pass and go out, drop passenger, drop conferees.
All right,
yes.
All right. Now, let's talk about the resolutions and the communiques. We want to know what is the content of all this resolution and how will it lead to, change in governance and the justice system in Nigeria.
So you see, the resolution that were passed, there are very many, leading from what the meeting we had and the press conference. But one that stands out is this issue of public interest litigation. We talked about access to justice. People, not being able to get, access to justice in the sense that one, litigation cost is high, and the public interest department of the NBA became so dormant. Maybe the former president, didn't activate it as it should be, but the committee has now been set up, and I think they now set it up almost in all the 36 states to be manned by copper lawyers, so that you don't say you don't have money to fight for your rights. These people that do public interest litigation. So because the thing became so dormant, and nobody was talking about that, people like very dark man began to, take up the responsibility of public interest. Because that public interest is what exactly man is doing.
Yeah.
So these are people who say, you are being hunted here. Who is doing that to you? Say it is Signature TV. Next they will find our suit, find against you. Because you don't even know, they don't say you don't have money to pay the lawyer. So that one stood out cardinal. And then the issue of the fundamental rights of individuals. You find out that lawyers chase more of money than fighting the rights of individuals. Law is not meant only to be making money. The right of individuals should also be protected. So it is an instrument of social justice. You have your right, and the only person who can protect your right, including his own right, is the lawyer. Because the lawyer's role in society is not beyond going to carry out litigation in court, getting paid for the services rendered. No. Sometimes you also try to see people who are being humiliated by people in authority.
Yes.
Because these people in authority, some of them deliberately do what they are doing simply because nobody is telling them what they are doing is wrong. Otherwise, you can't tell me why a government that knows its onions should remove a democratically elected governor, place a sole administrator, and then the sole administrator goes on to conduct local government elections. You see, a lot of aberrations are going on in this country, and people are keeping quiet. So the only alternative, if you don't have the only alternative to rule of law is anarchy. Okay. When the rule of law becomes so dormant, the next thing that will go is anarchy. So, and we don't want anarchy in this country. So we want the rule of law. And who is going to implement that rule of law? The lawyer. And then the issue of the judges being corrupt, and some lawyers also aiding and abetting them. Because it can't be all roses for lawyers. We also noted that, you see, we say that out of every 12, there is always a Judas. So if there is 24, 2 Judases, 36, 3 Judases, as the 12 increases, the number of Judas increases. So if you have 1,000, when there were about 36 judges, maybe you have 2 Judases among the 36, or maybe 1. If they become 48, the more the judges increase, because judges exist in the society. This cash and carry kind of judgment Nigerians now and go for, because you come to brief a lawyer, You start asking the lawyer whether he knows a judge where he can send this case to. It's no more a lawyer who knows the law. It's not a lawyer who knows the judge. That shows you where we have degenerated into. And some judges who accept such things need to be weeded out, because judges are well paid. They have no reason to be corrupt. No judge has any reason whatsoever to be corrupt, because you are very by every standard in this country, judges are comfortable. You get your good car, you get your good house. No judge is appointed a judge without having a house where you're going to live in.
Of course.
There's going to be a brand new car, not Belgian car. And many of them who came from ordinary practice to become judges, who had no good cars even when they were in practice, now write good cars. So tell me why should be corrupt? If you have any reason to be corrupt, the NJC should slide the hammer, or if they can't do that, the NBA will start cleaning up. So we also have to do an internal cleansing of ourselves. It's part of the resolution. So that internal cleansing is also necessary, because the way the public sees court and law and lawyers and judges today is completely different from what it used to be some 10 years ago. Before, you can't say a judge is a criminal. Just come to public television and national television like this and say judge is a criminal. But people now go on national television interview and call judges, Supreme Court judges, call them criminals and go away without any repercussions, all right? So it has never happened before. So these are the things we want to curtail. The respect are degenerated.
What about things around, women and the position of women in the law? Because we also had people like Joy Ezilo at the conference, and she spoke on things like that and the role of women. So what conversations were had around that as well?
Yeah, you see, in law, we don't even have women. Everybody is a man, because everybody in law is a learned gentleman. We don't have learned gentlewoman. So, but that is a fact. We don't have any woman in law. The forebearers of that profession never intended it to be for women. Women just jumped into it and then started doing very well in it. So, the issue of having what you call the FIDA, International Federation of Female Lawyers. So it is just to assert the agenda. But there's nothing wrong with it. I don't see any demarcation, because even if you check the Enugu State High Court bench, the women at that bench are not more in number than the men.
I'm talking about even in the Constitution as well, the Constitution and the laws to protect.
You don't need to create any special law to protect women lawyers. That's what I'm saying. Because they too are greater in number even in the areas where we have, all apart from the National Assembly that make laws, women are very small there. But in terms of the actual law itself, the magisterial bench, the legal practice, the High Court bench, even the Court of Appeal bench, you go and
what
check.
About the women that are not in law, the women
fine.
outside?
Now, when we talk about women outside the legal practice, that's a different ballgame altogether.
Exactly.
Generally, women need protection of the law. But you don't need to have a constitutional provision for that. So because that creates a different set of human beings from the normal human being. If you now start creating a section of our constitution dedicated to women and their protection, women need protection. The ones the law affords them are still very, very cardinal. Unless you want the kind of protection the law gives the woman in the Western world, wherever a woman feels that maybe Barrister Focus is rich, he now marries me. After 2 years, he divorces me and wants to claim 80% of my wealth, and the court gives that. America is also changing it now. If that's the kind of protection you want for women, then I would say the law is still there to protect the woman. As far as I'm concerned, we have more than enough laws. Even our matrimonial laws, the natural matrimonial laws, wherever you have a divorce proceeding in court, the law protects the woman more than the man, ordinarily. I hardly see where the court now writes and says a woman should pay a man alimony or pay him some compensation. It hardly is done. And again, whenever you have a child disputation litigation, who takes custody of a child, once the child is not up to 18, most of the time, unless the woman has a wayward life, most of the time the woman takes custody of that child and the man brings the upkeep. So the law protected the woman, only that the women have not actually they don't actually want to access and harness that protection given to them by the law. So if you now want another separate addition, creation of constitutional creation, just like we're saying, women should have 40% affirmation in terms of politics. You also now say women should have so percent in constitution. Then that means adding more to the one they have already. So what the requirement of the women is having themselves organized. Now explore their chances under our existing law, and then know how they use that chance they have to help themselves, including using the women who are lawyers and who are in the legal practice to accept that. Because ordinarily, women are also their own problem. I think I recall that, I think it was during the time of Enugu or Jonathan, one lady contested for president. I think she had about 4 votes. I think her own votes, maybe 2 of her daughters, and maybe her mother. So, but if a woman can contest for president, I could not get more than 100 votes. That shows you, doesn't mean that women don't vote again. So women should also organize themselves and be their own sisters keepers. So you don't need to go, like Joy is talking about, no, you don't go for separate litigation to protect a woman when the one already in existence are more than enough for them.
Okay, so let's talk about the commitment that the NBA said concerning pro bono. Is it just a mere promise, or are they going to implement it?
That is part of the public interest litigation I talked about.
Okay.
That is public interest. That pro bono means doing it free of charge. That's the meaning of the word. Pro bono is a Latin word.
Yes.
Now, when we create public interest litigation department, which they have created now in the 36 states, in addition to the human rights desk, federal government has already established. Now, it's manned by corpers, NYSC lawyers who are posted to the state to send more numbers there. That also means that the NBA will be funding it, including giving those lawyers money for transport to go to court for those people who they are going to take their matters pro bono. Because taking matter pro bono from a lawyer, in fact, doing a pro bono brief is one of the first requirements that will ask from you if they want to make elevate you to the rank of senior advocate. How many lawyers, how many clients have you handed their matters free? But before you handle a matter free pro bono, you must make sure the man is actually, improved in such a way that he cannot pay for litigation. Not when you're handling the brief of Dangote, you say you're doing it pro bono. You have to charge him, you have to pay him, because that's why you're a lawyer. Because I recall that there was one matter I was doing, the case comes from Aman Kano. Each time I want to get statements from my client, I have to drive to Amechi Dodo on a market day and wait for the man. He has no telephone. So I wait for the man in there and I'll be asked until he will come. When he comes, we take his statement, record the ones we can record on phone, and go back. Any day he manages to come to court in Abuan, we are the ones to give him money to go back, not even giving us transport. So that's what we call real pro bono. Right. Because we saw the man could not pay for any litigation. In fact, the day the thing happened in court, the judge actually told me, are you here and this kind of thing is happening? The man said, I have no money to pay. In fact, the money I used to come to this court, I even borrowed it from a society who asked me to pay 100% interest when we harvest our crops. So if this woman is talking for this land, let her take it. I don't have money to and go for it. God knows who owns land. So this became so sympathetic.
All right, just because we are running out of time, I just want to ask one last question before we go. Now, looking at the theme of this year's MBA conference, I'd like to know, why was that theme chosen and why was it considered timely for Nigeria's current reality?
Yes, to stand out, stand tall.
Yes.
It is apt now. This is time for lawyers to stand tall, to stand out. A lot of things are happening. And it was not the law of the 1970s, where lawyers go to drink only in a sports club. Lawyers now drink in street bar parlors and mix up with everybody. But while you have been doing that, you also need to stand tall. You don't need to stand out. How do you stand tall and stand out? Like Caesar's wife, you must live above board. It is only legal practice that the words of mouth has potency. Like God said, let land come out of water. Land came out of water. Let there be light. There was light. The only other profession on earth where the word of mouth has potency is law. Because it's in law that you say somebody killed this cameraman. Okay, you are not worthy to be in a civilized society. And you shall die by having a rope hang on your neck until you are dead. May God have mercy on your soul. The judge will hit a guy and go. He has killed somebody on radio, but he will go and attend the wedding and will be dancing, not knowing that somebody is going to die the next minute. It is law that gives you that power. So you must have to stand out if you are going to do those things. If you can't do it, then you can't stand out. There was an incident that happened in Anambra, which I keep on giving people as an example. The Attorney General of every state is the chief law officer. We are aware of the time EFCC operatives scaled the fence of one suspect. They said they are looking for somebody in your house. And the man, after shouting, who are the operatives fired at them, and one of the operatives was killed. Now the man was arraigned in court for murder. The Attorney General said, no, police can't arraign this man. Let me look at the case file. And the case file was recorded. Having recorded the case file, the police now decided to invite people from Attorney General's office for interrogation. Why did they record the case file? Instead of the Attorney General, who is the chief law officer, to discipline the police, now the police now discipline the Attorney General. You see, that's why I said, they didn't stand tall in that area. They need to stand tall.
And stand out.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. The legal practitioner, Najume Ofokansi. Thank you for joining
remember, I'm a farmer too. Yes. I'm trying to be a legal practitioner. I'm also a farmer.
Okay. Yes. A farmer and a legal practitioner, Najume Ofokansi.
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining us. And we just talked about the briefs from Enugu NBA conference. Thank you so much. And our conversation continues on Signature Morning. Do stay with us. We'll get back to you.
Health is more than a diagnosis. It's your lifestyle, your choices, and your future. Join us on Inside Health, your weekly deep dive into the stories, science, and solutions shaping your well-being. From expert interviews to real-life journeys of healing and hope, we cover it all.
One of the complications